Lulu's awake and trying to escape on November 20 General Hospital. Just as Port Charles said goodbye to Sam, viewers got to say hello to Lulu on the November 20, 2024 episode of General Hospital. She's back. As Port Charles calmed down from burying Sam, ex-Kelly Monaco, Lulu, Alexa Havens, who made her GH debut, miraculously awake from her coma at the new facility. Confused and in pain, she immediately noticed her scar from the liver transplant. Just as she was about to call for help, she heard a familiar but unwanted voice down the hall. While Cyrus, Jeff Kober, spoke with a doctor about her recovery, Lulu flashed back to her last encounter with her uncle, which she wrote an article that he was less than pleased with. Lulu decided to pretend she was still in the coma when Cyrus came in to sit with her, and once he was called away, her mission began. In true Lulu fashion, she forced herself out of bed, wobbly legs sending her falling on the floor. But that didn't stop her from getting back up, determined to break out of the facility. Meanwhile, Dante, Dominic Samprogna, found comfort in Christina, Kate Mancy, as they shared their grief, until his sister asked him whether he would have preferred Sam lived and Lulu died. Dante wished it didn't have to be on or the other, and Christina assured him he was allowed to be relieved over Lulu's recovery. Things got even more twisty at GH when Sam's autopsy results came in, and while they assured Lucas, Van Hansis, wasn't to blame for her death, the results pointed at an issue on Elizabeth's, Rebecca Hurst, when they learned that Sam experienced an overdose of a medication that she was never prescribed. Lulu's awake and trying to escape. A November 20th General Hospital drama. The sterile hum of the machines filled the room, their rhythmic beeping punctuating the tense silence. Lulu Spencer's eyelids fluttered, her lashes casting delicate shadows on her pale cheeks. A soft groan escaped her lips, her first sound in what felt like an eternity. The harsh fluorescent light of the hospital room pierced her consciousness as she slowly emerged from the deep abyss she'd been trapped in. Lulu? Laura Collins' voice cracked, her hope and disbelief blending into a trembling plea. She leaned over her daughter, clutching her hand with a mix of desperation and joy. "Lulu, can you hear me?" Lulu's gaze drifted around the room, her movements sluggish but deliberate. Her body felt like lead, her mind a foggy maze of confusion. The face before her, a familiar one, brought a flicker of recognition. "Mom," Lulu murmured, her voice hoarse from disuse. Tears streamed down Laura's cheeks as she pressed Lulu's hand to her lips. "You're awake. Oh, my baby, you're awake." The joy in the room was palpable, but it was short-lived. Lulu's eyes darted to the machines around her, then to the IV in her arm. Panic surged through her chest as fragmented memories of the explosion at the floating rib flooded back. What happened? Lulu's voice rose, trembling with urgency. "Why am I here? Where's Dante? Where's Charlotte?" Laura hesitated, her face clouding with sorrow. "We'll explain everything, sweetheart. Just rest for now." But rest was the last thing on Lulu's mind. The realization that she'd been unconscious for months, or longer, sank in, and with it came an overwhelming sense of dread. She struggled against the heavy blanket covering her, her muscles weak, but her determination fierce. "I need to go," Lulu rasped, her hands fumbling with the IV line. "I need to find my family." "Lulu, stop," Laura pleaded, pressing gently on her shoulders. "You've just woken up. You're not strong enough." "I don't care," Lulu snapped, her voice cracking with desperation. "I have to see Dante. I have to see Charlotte." The door swung open, and in walked Dr. Griffin Munro, his expression a mix of surprise and relief at the sight of his patient awake. "Lulu, it's good to see you up," he said, his tone soothing yet firm. "But you need to stay calm. Your body has been through a lot. I don't care what my body's been through, Lulu retorted, her frustration bubbling over. I need answers. Why is no one telling me anything? Griffin exchanged a worried glance with Laura before stepping closer. Lulu, I promise we'll tell you everything, but for now, you need to stay in bed. If you push yourself too hard, you cold. I could what? Go back into a coma? Lulu's laugh was sharp, almost hysterical. I've already lost so much time. I won't lose another second. Before anyone could stop her, Lulu yanked out the IV line with a wince. The machines erupted in a cacophony of alarms, drawing the attention of the nearby nurses. Laura gasped, her hands hovering helplessly as Lulu swung her legs over the side of the bed. Lulu, please, Laura cried. Think about Charlotte. Think about Rocco. They need you to recover. The mention of her children gave Lulu pause, her hands trembling as they gripped the bedrail. She closed her eyes, taking a shaky breath. Then don't stand in my way, she said quietly. If they need me, I have to find them. Griffin stepped forward, his voice firm but compassionate. Lulu, I understand how you feel, but you're not ready to leave. Let us help you. But Lulu wasn't listening. Her determination was like a freight train, unstoppable and unyielding. She slid off the bed, her legs wobbling beneath her weight. Laura reached out to steady her, but Lulu shrugged her off. I'll do this with or without your help, Lulu said, her voice steelier than anyone expected. Just as Griffin was about to call for backup, Dante Falconeri burst into the room, his face a mixture of shock and relief. Lulu, he breathed, his voice barely audible. Lulu's head snapped toward him, her eyes wide. Dawn, she whispered, the name like a lifeline. She took an unsteady step forward, nearly collapsing before Dante caught her in his arms. You're awake, Dante said, his voice thick with emotion. He held her close, as if afraid she might slip away again. God, I missed you. Lulu clung to him, her tears soaking his shirt. For a moment, time seemed to stand still. But the questions burning in her mind wouldn't be silenced. Dante, what happened? She asked, pulling back to look him in the eyes. Why was I in a coma? Where's Charlotte? Dante hesitated, his jaw tightening. Lulu, there's so much to explain. But first, you need to rest. Don't you start with me too. Lulu snapped, her frustration boiling over. Everyone keeps telling me to rest, but no one is giving me answers. I deserve to know what's going on. Dante sighed, running a hand through his hair. Charlotte's safe, he said finally. She's with Valentin, and we'll bring her to see you as soon as you're strong enough. The mention of Valentin's name sent a jolt of anger through Lulu. With Valentin? Are you kidding me? He's the reason this happened in the first place. Lulu, please, Dante said, his voice pleading. You need to focus on getting better. For Charlotte, for all of us. Lulu shook her head, her resolve unwavering. I can't just lie here while my daughter is with him. I won't. As the tension in the room reached a breaking point, the door opened again, and a new figure stepped inside, Valentin Cassadine. His presence was like a storm cloud, darkening the atmosphere. Lulu, Valentin said smoothly, his eyes scanning her with an inscrutable expression. It's good to see you awake. Don't you dare, Lulu spat, her voice venomous. I don't want to hear anything from you. Lulu, I'm not here to argue, Valentin said calmly. I'm here to make sure you're okay. Charlotte needs her mother. The mention of Charlotte softened Lulu's glare, but only slightly. If you cared about what Charlotte needs, you wouldn't be anywhere near her. Valentin sighed, his mask of composure slipping for a brief moment. Believe it or not, Lulu, we both want what's best for her. Before Lulu could respond, a sharp pain lanced through her side, and her legs buckled. Dante and Laura caught her just in time, their concern etched on their faces. "Lulu," Laura cried. "Griffin, do something." Griffin stepped in, his professional demeanor taking over. "Lulu, you need to lie down. Your body isn't ready for this." As much as Lulu hated to admit it, her body was betraying her. The room spun, and exhaustion weighed her down like a lead blanket. She allowed Dante and Laura to guide her back to the bed, her anger and frustration simmering beneath the surface. "This isn't over," Lulu murmured, her eyes locking on Valentin. "I will get my daughter back." Valentin said nothing, but the look in his eyes spoke volumes. The battle lines were drawn, and Lulu Spencer wasn't about to back down.